You can probably name European kings, you can list American presidents, you can recall the so-called explorers from Europe and even explain the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. But let me ask you something. What do you really know about the great African civilization that ruled for thousands of years? If your knowledge feels limited, that is not an accident. It was designed to be this way. What you are about to hear may completely shift how you see history, education, and the way human consciousness has been shaped and manipulated for over 400 years. The African scholar Cheikh Anta Diop once warned us back in 1984. They are waging war against us. He called it a battle more violent than the extinction of certain species. For centuries, incredible effort has gone into erasing the civilizing role of black people on earth. Why? What exactly did the West and the Arab world want from us? How did humanity get trapped in such a stubborn lie? The answers are disturbing. Until the Middle Ages, no one doubted that the ancient Egyptians were black Africans. Writers from Europe and the Arab world described them that way. Mosaics, biblical illustrations, and historical accounts all confirmed it. It was not a debate, it was reality. So, what's changed? Everything. With Europeans' expansion and the transatlantic slave trade came falsification. And it wasn't just about slavery, it was about building a psychological weapon. The slave traders discovered that the easiest way to exploit Africa was to destroy their worldview. They deliberately reshaped culture, beliefs, and values to make Africans subservient. After the Berlin Conference of 1884, colonial powers imposed European education systems with Eurocentric curriculums designed to cut Africans off from their traditions. That legacy survives today. African child grow up memorizing European history while knowing little to nothing about their own. Even the wigs worn by African judges and lawyers remain a symbol of colonial influence. Colonial education trained Africans to identify with what was foreign and to despise what was theirs. Imagine being so conditioned that you end up celebrating the very people who enslaved your ancestors. That is the power of miseducation. Every black civilization outside so-called sub-Saharan Africa was either writing in history books or its African origins deliberately silenced. As Cheikh Anta Diop wrote in 1954, Western works will have us believe that searching deep into Africa for a civilization would be a waste of time, as if black people were incapable of such achievements. Robert Bart's research shows that in the late 1600s, Europeans created the idea of white identity for the first time. It was invented specifically to justify slavery. Before then, white people as a category did not exist. From that point forward, the world was divided. Superior white Europeans on one side, inferior black Africans on the other side. Martin Barner put it plainly. If blacks were truly incapable of civilization, how do you explain ancient Egypt? The answer from European historians was simple: deny the Egyptians were black, deny that they created civilization, or deny both. And they choose the last. This is why African countries as well as Nigeria's colonial curriculum glorify European history while ignoring indigenous knowledge. The strategy was clear: enforce the colonizer language, erase African identity, and teach one group to serve while the other ruled. The West still clings to these lies today, unable to admit the truth. The modern Western civilization is built on stolen history and crime against humanity. They fear the consequence of admitting it. Believing oppressed people will seek revenge. Even where the Arab and Western world collides, their elites unite when it comes to denying Africans' role in history. For Arabs, claiming ancient Egypt legitimized their long occupation of North Africa, but the evidence is too fast to erase. Over 700,000 manuscripts from Timbuktu alone have survived, more than most European libraries. While Europe was in its dark ages, Timbuktu had one of the world's great universities. Among them is the Great Sankore University. Africans mastered iron technology as early as the 8th century BCE. The oldest mathematical artifact in the world was found in Africa. While Europeans fought to survive harsh winters, Africans were forging ions and laying the foundations of mathematics. Mansa Musa of Mali still remains the wealthiest man in recorded history. His riches were so legendary that medieval European map drew him holding a giant golden nugget. This image sparked Europe's hunger to seek, explore and conquer Africa. Yet today, schools reduce black history to slavery and civil rights, ignoring Africans' innovation in algebra, architecture, philosophy, and even democracy. Yes, the Manden Charter, born in Mali centuries before England's Magna Carta, was built on communalism and ethics and not conflict. But African story is still silenced, distorted or erased in classrooms and media. African civilizations are misattributed and black contributions are minimized. This is not a mistake. It is a warfare for the minds of future generations. Our task is clear: to dismantle these lies intellectually, without violence, but with truth. We must be the last generation of black people humiliated by the theft of our history. So, what is your role in this revolution? Question everything you were taught about Africa. Research the civilization that came before. Share the truth with your community. Support African scholars and demand accurate education in schools. Because slavery is not African history, it interrupted African history. The greatest revolution won't be fought with weapons, it will be fought with knowledge, and it starts with you right now. And if you really want to dive deeper, don't stop here. Watch our next video. Forgotten African Empire they tried to hide from history. You will see how powerful Africa truly was and why they worked so hard to erase it. So make sure you like this video, drop a comment, share it with others and subscribe so more people can learn the truth. I will see you in my next video.